Welcome to Stuff I Find Interesting, where I talk about stuff that I find interesting. Today we're going to talk about pregnancy tests. This is a odd topic for me. However, I saw something on Reddit which piqued my interest, and at that point I began to fall into the pregnancy test wormhole. It turns out that trying to predict if you are pregnant or not is something that has had many different methods throughout time. Some that are a lot more viable than others. One of our earliest examples of a urine-based pregnancy test can be found way back in Egypt, where the Egyptians wrote down on papyrus their method for if a woman may be pregnant. The woman must urinate on both a wheat and a barley seed. If the barley grows, she's gonna have a boy, and if the wheat grows, she's gonna have a girl. If neither grow, well, then she's not pregnant. In testing this theory, it has been proven that 70% of the time, pregnant women's urine does in fact aid growth of plants, so this method, while not very accurate, may in fact have proven useful to the ancient Egyptians. Now we travel forward in time toward the Middle Ages, where a brand new kind of wizard crops up. All of a sudden, there were piss prophets. These were snake oil salesmen, people that claimed that with one glance at some of your piss, they could give you a prophecy about what kind of diseases you were afflicted with. They also would mix some of your piss with alcohol to see what happens. Crazy thing though, is that alcohol does have a certain reaction with certain proteins, so they might have actually been onto something there. Then we started getting near the 1900s, where science started to get a little bit better. Our officials more or less agreed that they had no clue what the heck they could do to monitor pregnancy, and as such, they encouraged women to monitor their physical signs and symptoms and to visit a doctor as soon as possible if they thought they might be pregnant. This was where the effects of prenatal care truly started to take off, and the benefits were easy to see. This is why accurate and responsive pregnancy tests are important. The sooner you know whether you are pregnant, the sooner you can start receiving prenatal care, which is highly beneficial. This is where many giant leaps for science and pregnancy tests in general started to take place. In the 1920s, it was found out that pregnant women generate a specific hormone, HCG. They also found that this hormone could affect animals in different ways. In order to test for pregnancy, they would inject urine into an immature rat or mouse. If this urine did in fact come from a pregnant woman, the rat would show signs of being in heat despite its age. And bada bing, bada boom, if you see it in the rat, you about to have a brat, you got a kid. They also discovered that injecting this hormone in rabbits would in fact promote ovary growth, but it also meant that for every test, a rabbit had to die, as they would have to perform an autopsy to investigate the ovaries. This is where the phrase, "she killed the rabbit," came from. It meant a positive pregnancy result, and you may still hear this used by older people to this day. Anyway, over the rest of the 1900s, we began to learn a lot more about hormones, steroids, and antibodies, and overall how everything works within our bodies, and we were able to use this knowledge to start standardizing prenatal health care and testing, as well as to develop tests that were much quicker. In 1970, the Unported 2-hour pregnancy test was made available, which had an unprecedented speed of being able to be used only 4 days after a missed period. Although you still had to go to your doctor in order to receive this test, it was still the best option on the market, up until 1977 into 1978, when the EPT, early pregnancy test, later known by the name error-proof test, came to market. EPT was the first home pregnancy test kit available here in the United States. While it took 2 hours to complete, it was decently accurate and allowed women to take the test in the privacy of their own home. We have since made great strides in the efficacy and convenience of these products, and in the overall process of pregnancy and childbirth. Anyways, I thought this was all really interesting. I recognize that it's definitely an odd subject for YouTube perhaps, but I've never heard anyone talk about it before, and I really enjoy learning about the history of such a necessary piece of technology. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a great day.